We're paying $700 a month for our mortgage, but for people like us earning just $550 a month, it's tough. Plus, we have kids to raise.
35岁
I'm 35 and stuck with a $480,000 mortgage. Back in 2019, I made an impulsive decision to take out a loan and buy a house. Now, I'm paying about $2,500 a month, and $2,200 of that is just interest. I've been paying for over 3 years now, but it's really stressful. At this rate, I won't pay it off until I'm almost 65. I've had the house for over a year, but I can't afford to renovate it yet, so we still can't move in. China's real estate market is getting worse and worse, with property sales continuing to decline across the country. Even major cities like Guangzhou and Shenzhen are facing problems, and housing prices have fallen to super cheap levels. Today, let's talk about the big drop in China's housing prices. But before we do, we would like to invite you to subscribe. Your support is our greatest motivation and allows us to bring you more valuable content. Now, moving on. Recently, a property development in Zhongshan, Guangdong launched a promotional campaign offering a fully renovated home for a down payment of just $1.40, which has sparked widespread discussion. According to a report from the Daily Economic News, this development is located in Guangzhou Town, Zhongshan City, and the housing units are nearly completed. The promotion is expected to last until the end of the year. Real estate agent Shay Ping explained. With a down payment of $1.40, you can buy a fully renovated home that will be ready by the end of this year. For a 30-year mortgage, monthly payments are around $400 for a 3-bedroom and $500 for a 4-bedroom unit. Sales staff also confirmed that the remaining portion of the down payment would be amortized over the monthly payment. Units on the 12th, 18th, and 22nd floors are still available. It's worth noting that the price of this development has dropped from its peak of $4,100 per square meter to around $1,800 per square meter. You can buy a fully renovated 3-bedroom with just $1.40 down payment. $1.40. You can't even buy a sandwich anymore, but you can get a fully renovated 3-bedroom in this neighborhood. Come on, let's check out the layout. This 89 square meter unit has 3 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, and 2 bathrooms. The kitchen is here, and there's an open utility balcony outside. The overall layout feels pretty comfy. As we understand it, the $1.40 down payment promotion mainly targets units between 89 to 107 square meters, with prices starting at $100,000 and a monthly payment as low as $400. In other words, if you buy an 89 square meter home, your annual mortgage payment would be at least $4,800. A well-known Weibo influencer Tianlong 50 Guizhe commented, "Isn't this just a way of offloading debt? It's like buying a company for $1, but it's loaded with debt, and someone else has to pay for it. Basically, it's just shifting the debt to someone else." One netizen bluntly said, "The average salary in Zhongshan is only $400 a month. After paying the mortgage, they'll probably be surviving on nothing but air and hope." You might think that a $1.40 down payment for a fully renovated home is shocking, but some people practically give the house away for free. Has Guangzhou really reached the point where people are giving away homes for free? A few days ago, a homeowner publicly stated that they were giving away their house. They've already paid the mortgage for 3 years, and as long as someone is willing to take over the monthly payments, the house is theirs for free. At first glance, it seems like a great deal, but there's a catch. When they bought the house, it cost $270,000 with a $220,000 loan. Due to the recent downturn in the real estate market, the property's value has dropped by nearly half. So even if they sell it, they won't be able to pay off the loan, which is why they're in such a hurry to give the house away. In recent years, there have been more and more stories about people giving away homes for free. Most of these homeowners bought their properties a few years ago when prices were high. With prices dropping and reasons like unemployment making it hard to pay the mortgage, they're desperately looking for someone to take over their homes. Is there anyone willing to take over my mortgage? I'll give you the house for free. Yep, you heard that right. I stopped making payments yesterday. I don't want to bring anyone down, but this is what's happening to me. Last year, I spent my parents' 30 years of savings to buy a luxury apartment in Kunming, 350,000 total, 100,000 down payment, and 240,000 loan. The place was in high demand, and I even used connections to get the floor I wanted. But last week, I accidentally went to a sales office and found out my apartment is now worth less than 270,000, and it even comes with a parking spot. What hurts even more is that I bought it with an interest rate of 5.8%, while now it's only 3.95%. That's over 100,000 less in interest. In just over a year, I've lost almost 200,000. I don't know what 200,000 means to you, but to me, it feels like everything's falling apart. The 100,000 down payment was all the money my parents worked so hard for their whole lives. My friends tell me that property prices might go up again, but what do you think? Do you think that's going to happen? There are a lot of stories about people giving away houses for free in China, and the same kind of thing has happened to people close to netizen Tongge too.
昨天就有位粉丝朋友联系到堂哥吐槽。
Yesterday, a follower contacted me complaining that he wanted to give away his house because he couldn't afford the mortgage. Back in 2021, they bought a place in Nanjing for 200,000, but now it's dropped to 120,000 and they can't handle it anymore. The apartment is 88 square meters, a 3-bedroom, and the total price is 200,000. They paid a 70,000 down payment and borrowed 140,000 with monthly payments of 1,200. Over the past 3 years, they paid off 34,000. Now, the most embarrassing thing is that the house is only worth 120,000. If they sell, they'll still owe the bank 20,000 after covering the 70,000 down payment and the 34,000 monthly payments.
复合25万的月供全部砸进去了，而且要倒欠银行15万多。
Netizen Tongge said that this friend stopped paying the mortgage. The bank took them to court, and after the ruling, they ended up with an additional 14,000 in fees, including 7,000 in penalties, 1,400 in case fees, 700 in security fees, and about 4,100 in lawyer fees. Plus, they've been added to the dishonesty blacklist. They said they emptied out 3 generations of their family savings just for this house, and now this is the outcome. In the past year, home prices in Guangzhou have continued to fall, with some areas seeing drops as high as 65% and the lowest drop being 15%. For example, in Tianhu Park, the price fell by about 15 to 30%. In Zhujiang New Town, it dropped by 23 to 30%. In the suburbs, prices have returned to 2015-2016 levels, with a general decline of 30 to 65%. Recently, a promotional video for a property in the core Huangpu, Yuzhou port area went viral. The price dropped from $2,700 per square meter to $750, around 70% off. A 1-bedroom unit is now $27,000, and a 2-bedroom, 1-living-room unit is $54,000. In Tianhe district, there's another property with prices slashed by 70%, with small units going for as low as $30,000. Before this, in Nankun Panyu district, Guangzhou, a housing complex was selling at 70% off. A 2-bedroom, 1-living-room unit was priced at just $31,000. Netizens couldn't stop saying, Guangzhou's housing market has totally crashed. Property prices are falling all over China. About 75% of mainlanders' assets are their houses. If property prices fall by 40%, half of China's population will now have negative equity. Especially those who bought after 2018, their losses are severe. Many residents are complaining on social media, saying they're forced to sell their homes due to unemployment and financial struggles. However, the plummeting property prices have made their losses even worse. For example, this blogger and her husband bought a house for $270,000 in 2017. Now that her husband is unemployed and the family is in financial straits, the couple tried to sell the house for $140,000, but the result was unexpected.
还进行了验资，本来200万的房子，我们是首付了70万。
We bought this house for $270,000 with $100,000 down payment and $180,000 mortgage. The monthly payments are about $1,000. But after my husband lost his job and my noodle shop shut down during the pandemic, we couldn't just keep up and started thinking about selling. The house is 142 square meters in a neighborhood that's getting better and better, but that hasn't stopped prices from tanking. We paid $2,000 per square meter and now it's only worth $1,000. The whole place would sell for just $140,000.
买的142平的房子，现在也就值100万。
This woman said she was hopeful when her agent told her someone was coming to check out the house. But when the buyer arrived, they nitpicked everything and then said, if it's $70,000, I might consider it. She was so mad she told the agent, forget it, I'm not selling. She vented, these buyers act like they're shopping at a farmer's market, haggling over houses like they're picking out vegetables. It's ridiculous. Netizen Schwann's mom is also considering whether to sell her house.
老公被裁员了，我们决定把房子卖了。
My husband recently heard that his company is about to lay off people again, so we talked about it. If he gets laid off, he might have a hard time finding a job right away, and the only option might be to sell the house to relieve some pressure. We bought this second-hand house in 2016 with a 30-year mortgage, and the monthly payment is $270. When we got married, we spent $14,000 on renovations, but the house is pretty small and the layout isn't great. Once we had our baby, the place felt cramped, so we ended up renting a bigger space. Last year, we planned to sell the house and listed it with an agent for a few months, but we hit the housing market crash. Some people came to see the house, but their offers were way too low, so we had to give up. Now, we're stuck paying both rent and mortgage plus property fees for both places. Our original plan was to sell this place and buy a bigger house that worked better for our family. But with prices dropping like this, those plans are on hold. We're a family of 3 living off my husband's $700 monthly salary, with mortgage payments, rent, living expenses, and tens of thousands of dollars in debt. There's just so much pressure. The other day, he checked with the agent and found out that the housing market was at a low point. People who don't have to buy just aren't buying. If we sell now, we'll lose at least $41,000, and even if the average person didn't eat or drink for the whole year, they still couldn't make that much money. Thinking about all this really gets to me. I don't know if it's the right choice to sell the house now.
正确的选择呢？
知道吗？我昨天在网上看到一个网友发的是，
You know what? Yesterday, I saw a post that really hit me hard. This guy bought a house in Xiamen in 2019 for $820,000. He put down $140,000 as a down payment and was paying nearly $2,700 a month on the mortgage. He worked his tail off to make those payments, living super frugally and barely spending anything. But this year, he lost his job. He couldn't keep up with the mortgage anymore and had no choice but to sell the house. When he checked, he saw that the same house in his neighborhood was only going for $550,000 now. If he sold, he could just cover the loan, meaning all the hard work over the years was for nothing. And he's in his 40s, so finding a new job won't be easy.
40多岁了，找工作也难。
More and more people are struggling to make their mortgage payments, and the banks are also starting to feel the pressure.
兄弟们，
Guys, the banks are freaking out right now. Wanna know why? More and more people are stopping their mortgage payments, and foreclosed homes are piling up. It used to be that if you missed just 3 months of payments, the court would send you a notice right away. But now, the banks are calling you, practically begging you to pay anything you can. It gets even crazier. Some banks are refusing to take back homes now. Why? They've got so many foreclosed homes they can't sell them fast enough. In the first quarter of this year alone, the number of foreclosed homes across the country hit over 100,000. That's up 192% from last year. But the problem? Only about 14% are actually being sold. What does that mean? In just 3 months, 600,000 families have decided to stop paying their mortgages. Now, the banks are scrambling, trying to find ways to postpone payments, offering plans like pay interest first just to avoid taking back those homes. It's like a ticking time bomb that's bound to explode any second now. The number of overdue payments keeps going up every day, and the banks can't sit back for much longer. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.